It's Friday for me. I'm getting my
Says
days
heat
all mixed
warning.
up. I'm getting my days all mixed up.
The months of July and August are the warmest time of the year to visit where you're visiting. Good choice, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding
That's
me.
true for anywhere in the world except the southern hemisphere.
Yeah. Let's go to Australia.
No, I don't want to bolt everything down to the ground.
Listen, I think I'm getting heat stroke. I'll be fine though.
You'll never
Oh,
live
so
survive
you'll
your
be
life.
acting normal.
I'm in an 8x5 room with a PC.
Mike comes out
Right
of the
next to
closet
me,
every
so-
day.
My mind comes out of the closet. It's wild.
Do you record in a closet?
No, it's my office. It was a closet.
Your office is a closet?
It was like on the floor
I've
plans.
seen the video. It's a pretty goddamn big closet.
It's like a his and hers closet, and we
Okay.
just
Oh,
took the door, like put a wall between them, and took the door into the hallway. So it is literally a closet.
That's awesome.
hey, if it makes you feel any better, one of my rooms growing up, used to be a closet. So they converted it. So don't feel too bad.
Aw,
So you came out of the
you're
closet.
like a little Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yep. Dude, I was a Harry Potter, except instead of living under the staircase, I was above the staircase.
Ooh, one better.
Ooh, penthouse apartment.
Moving on up.
Guys, what color milk do you think these space cows are going to give?
If it's not blue, I'm gonna personally bust
If
into
it
the
is,
I want it
that's
to be
copyright
purple.
infringement.
Give me purple milk coming out of what? How many udders do I see in this thing? One,
Dude, there's
two,
like
three,
12.
4, 5? Yeah, there's got to be 10 to 12 udders on this thing.
I don't know.
Oh,
I would
For
test
those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about the Quasi Grazer. It's just
Quasi
announced.
Grazer.
Do you want me to
Space
pull
cow.
up an
Find an image for it.
Oh, crap. I didn't. This was one of the only images that I didn't add to my repertoire for today.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Where's that Discord noise?
He's on break. Anyway, so
There it is.
as for actual, are we breaking into actual topics now, or are we going to continue?
I was my
futzing around?
attempt. My
That
attempt
looks like-
at phasing us into one.
Looks like
Yeah,
a lot
no,
of
no.
bot flies coming out of the belly.
I know,
Oh
it
my
looks
God.
really disgusting. It's like maggots or like ticks, like when a fat tick has been embedded in your dog
I'm
for
gonna
like a
railgun
month.
the shit out of that every time I see it, just because how nasty it looks.
Railgun the
You know-
crap out of that.
Dude, so you know what this reminds me of? It kind of looks like a cross between a hippo, like the ears especially, and God, what is the name of that thing? It's like a cross between a hippo, a pig, and a walrus. I want to
No,
say.
it just
Yeah.
looks like someone shaved the horn off a rhino.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah, but
So what do you think? Is it going on Microtech?
I think
No
they're
way.
probably gonna put it wherever they can possibly put it. I mean, that's what they did with the birds that they added just recently.
The birds are everywhere. I've only ever seen them on Microtech.
It's like
Apparently they're
Hurston's the
on
only
Hurston,
place for
too.
this kind of stuff. Any kind of ground fauna. I feel like, well, maybe some of the other moons.
No, the moons are airless. Remember?
For the
Oh,
most
that's
part,
true.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, there's hardly or no atmosphere, so
Got to be a
I'm-
planet.
I'm guessing.
And I mean,
Hurston,
honestly, like
the savannah.
scientifically wise, I guess I take that back. Because lore wise, we've terraformed all these planets, right? So like,
Yeah.
there should be animals on all of these planets.
Oh, there are warm
I
spots
think-
on Microtech, so maybe around there.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
what I've seen in the trailers before. And also, to my understanding, to the extent that we terraformed these planets was just to make the atmosphere breathable for humans. So, like the specific nitrogen and oxygen composition. So it's
Mhm.
entirely possible that these animals were also just here beforehand, and
That's true.
they've probably adapted to the differences in oxygen levels.
I
So
don't
what
know.
else happened
I
today
don't
in
like
Star
it.
Citizen News?
I think I heard when 4.0 comes out, we should be getting both two versions of the Zeus.
Yeah,
Both
dude, you were
too?
wrong.
I saw just the Clipper.
Yeah, the Clipper and the Cargo should be ready to go.
The Clipper is the cargo.
Oh, well, it's the other one and the Cargo. The
The Explorer.
yeah, the Explorer.
Yes.
It's
the ES and
the
the CL.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the one that we all want is going to be delayed.
Why? I don't understand why the QED one's getting delayed. It's like the spirits. Why did the C one get delayed so much longer than the A one? Wasn't the A one out first?
No.
No.
I
I
believe
think
the
they
C
released
one
at the
was
same
out
time.
first,
The
wasn't it?
E1 is the one that got delayed.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
E1
That-
is
that-
still pending.
Yeah, because that one has the escape pod that they need to make working or get working.
Do they really need to make it work to give us the ship?
I don't know.
So
But
yes,
what I do know,
because they said
No, go
they're
ahead.
no longer releasing a ship without its full capabilities in game. They made that mistake with the Starfarer, with the Retaliator, with the Caterpillar, with the Carrack. They released all these ships because, like, oh, they're partially done, and all we'll need to do is patch in a new mechanic or two. And
Yeah, but
then
then
you
they
have
need-
the
yeah.
Reclaimer sits there for, 2 years? Completely unusable before salvage?
The only
There's
thing
a difference
for
though between
the
like
Zeus MR, I think it would be the cryopods. Everything else is functioning in game.
The prisoner pods? Okay.
Yeah, those are the only things that wouldn't be working, which I'm okay with.
I suppose there's still an argument to be made about the fact that the ship can't be fully utilized.
They don't want
I
to.
don't
They don't
know.
want
If
to
it's-
run into that. 'Cause, I mean, yeah.
if it comes down to escape pods though, like nearly every ship of size has that, and they don't work. So I don't feel like that would be something that would need to be implemented before they can actually release that ship. So it must be it has to be something else. It can't be the escape pods.
Yeah,
Could be
I
the NPC missions. They're just waiting for that to get figured out before they release a ship like that. Probably why they haven't released the Genesis.
well, yeah. Not to mention the Genesis, they would inevitably just be another cargo ship.
There'd be no purpose to it.
Another Crusader cargo ship? What?
They also have to figure out how to break the news to everybody that it's not going to look anything like what it looks like when they bought it.
Yeah, I can imagine that the Crusader styling, since it's now a lot more defined, it's probably going to look a lot more sleek and less like, I mean, to be fair, it'll probably end up looking more like an airplane than it does currently, but it's definitely not going to look like the concept art anymore, at least not in terms of the texturing and
Well,
the
yeah, they gotta
physical
add
structure.
like 800,000 doors.
It looks like something from Despicable Me, something that Gru designed.
It does
Yeah.
all the
One of
silver
the
and stuff on
ugliest
it.
ships, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely foresee all that silver getting replaced with the white Crusader fused paneling that they have.
I do have to say, Crusader is my favorite aesthetic in the game. I love Crusader ships.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
Dave, did you catch up on our topic where we talked about the potential Crusader starter ship?
No, but I would be. I will eventually.
Yeah.
I don't.
I only-
I don't know if I want there to be a Crusader starter ship.
Well, I think we may be getting one whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
because
I know
that
we
was
kinda-
something that was brought up. Go ahead.
I know we kind of need one for each manufacturer, but do we? Like, I think we have enough starter ships as it is. As a matter of fact, I think you could cut out about 4 or 5 of them and be perfectly content in the game.
Well, yeah, because you also have some brands that are just starter ships. That's all they make.
Yeah, well, like, what, you talking Consolidated Outlands?
Yeah.
They make the Pioneer, largest
Which
construction
doesn't
ship in
exist
the
yet.
game. Okay, they make
It's the only
um,
construction ship, kind of. I mean, the Galaxy
Yeah,
a little
but-
bit, but
So let's keep the Nomad, let's keep the Titan, and let's keep the Cutter.
Who makes the Mustang?
CO.
Also
Consolidated
Outlands.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, right now, all they really do are make starter ships.
I agreed. I think that they're a forgotten manufacturer right now.
So, I mean, if a company doesn't have a starter ship, no big deal.
I agree with you, which is why I'm thinking, like, cut out some that do, because, like, would you consider the Reliance a starter ship?
Yes, but
Would you
the
consider
current-
the
with the current
Auroras a
pri-
starter ship?
with the
Auroras
current
are
pricing
100%
model,
a starter
the
ship.
issues that I have with the Reliance is that there's no reason to use them. They're like a very niche category for use case, especially since they're so delicate.
Agreed. I mean, and along that same price point, I feel like then the Titan gets eliminated and the Nomad.
It's definitely very competitive in that area, and it does, to some extent, it does make sense from a realism perspective, because there's, if you look at like modern automotive manufacturers, they have a lot of competition for,
Yeah, everybody makes a four-door sedan.
for especially the entry level models.
Mhm.
When you start to get up to things like Lincoln and Ferraris and whatnot, then things start to become a little bit more distinct. But even now, I've noticed like Ferrari has started
I'm
making.
sorry. I just want to go back to where you said Lincolns and Ferraris.
Lincoln
They're
is
about
the
the
luxury
same.
brand of Ford.
You're going to
just a luxury
compare the
Ford
two
brand.
of those?
I'm not saying to make any sort of distinction. I'm just throwing out two examples of quote-unquote luxury brands because, contrary to popular belief, Lamborghinis are not well made. you know,
Who believes
they
that,
may be
though?
expensive, but they're not well made, and neither are Lincolns. So the what
Don't
I'm
let Dom hear
specific.
you.
Oh yeah, but what I'm specifically referring to is the fact that when you start to get up in the prices, manufacturers tend to try to make their high-end models look more unique and more purpose-built for the purpose of attracting their high-paying customers. That was all.
So, okay, I guess on to starter ships though. Let's go back to starter ships.
Right.
Does it need to have a specific purpose, or is being a starter ship its specific purpose?
I think the inherent value of starter ships is like multi-role, but then they all have trade-offs, and I think the trade-offs that they offer are valid. So, like, if you take the Pisces, for example, and stack it up against the Avenger Titan, the Pisces, it's cheaper, and you can haul half of what the Titan can, but, if somebody had a better use case for it, then it might make more sense for them. Like if they were going to be operating in a support role, for example.
I struggle to classify the Pisces as a starter. I know it is. I'm not arguing that. I just see it more of a snub. So I've always only ever pictured it in the Carrick's cargo bay.
And I agree with you to some extent, but I do also recognize that there are people who will go out of their way to buy like a ship based on what their group needs. Even if they're starting out at the game, maybe their friend might say, oh, we need somebody who can do this, and then they'll buy the ship in question when they buy the game, in the game package.
That would be me.
I think a Pisces is just like an overall great ship for everyone to own, simply because it's a size 1. You can call it from the Platinum Bay, and it has a QT drive.
Yeah, but so does my Shrike.
Can you call it from the Platinum Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just
can?
can't carry anything
Yeah.
with it. That's the only problem.
It's just a no cargo, but it's got crap ton of missiles.
Well, if your ship ever gets down and you need a lift, I think the Pisces is always like the best ship to have as a pull-out for an emergency.
Oh, I'm not arguing with you. I agree. I think that the Pisces feels a great, supportive, almost like what the MPUV should be.
Right.
Right?
I think
And
I
if
think
it's
they
the
need to have a
medical
variant.
Pisces, it just feels, you sacrifice a little bit of cargo for an even bigger role.
Agreed.
I
I'd
think it
still,
would
in
be-
terms of a medical ship, want the Cuddy Red.
Yeah. I think it would be nice if they had a variant of the MPUV with a quantum drive.
Ooh. But that wouldn't fit Argo at all.
Why not?
Argo makes 0 combat ships. Name an Argo combat ship.
No, a quantum drive?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant QED. I was only
No.
half listening.
Yeah, just so that it can, it's not entirely reliant on a carrier. Like, I thought it would make sense for the tractor beam one to maybe have a quantum drive, but also not at the same time because it is kind of a logistics platform. But either way, it would be interesting to see at the very least, I think.
I've always thought of the MPV, specifically the tractor, is what I always thought of the MPUV as basically a mule in space. So, no
Right.
quantum drive. It's literally just to move boxes from your whole sea to somewhere else.
We've already discussed how the mule is kind of in a weird spot right now because it really isn't as efficient as anything with a tractor beam to move boxes unless you were
Agreed.
moving them really long distance. So,
I think when we get to a point where boxes aren't moved by tractor beams, maybe
I don't-
the mule becomes a thing, but I don't ever think we'll get there. I think
Well, no,
the mules,
let's say you go to like the Gray Cat facility, and obviously, everyone's not trying to kill you. Let's say you have a legit mission to go there, and they say, "Oh, pick up these boxes," but they're in the interior. Obviously, you're not going to want to walk them with a tractor beam all the way to your ship outside. No, you'll probably load them up on a mule and just have the mule go zipping through the facility out.
Right.
You just need the
Which
mule
makes
to be able to
sense.
carry more than one box at a time in its arm.
And also
Yeah.
more than a 1x1 SCU box.
It carries all of our hearts.
Let me carry a 32 SCU crate with my mule sideways, longwise, whatever. I don't care. Let me load up my herd.
It'd be
with
like
the
a
mule
dog
in the
trying to-
hangars.
It's gonna be like a dog
stick
trying to get
Through the door,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Trying to get through
No.
the door.
Hold on. Hold on, Mike. I actually thought of a potential solution because I was thinking about it and I realized that part of the reason they probably didn't make the mule able to hold, or at least in its current iteration, able to hold more than a 1 SCU crate in the front is because if you were to stack them vertically like a normal forklift, then not only would you obscure the view of the driver, but they wouldn't be able to open the front door. However, it did just occur to me that there's no that they shouldn't be able to hold it width-wise. You would just have to strategize if you were going to go through a particularly small doorway, how many crates you'd be willing to carry at a time, because I think it could conceivably carry like 6 SCU if the arms could anti-gravity outwards or something to hold the cargo, like 6 units of cargo in width-wise. It would look a little ridiculous, but it
Width
would
or
definitely make the
lengthwise?
mule a lot more useful.
Not you. Hold on. So like you're saying, like a T shape, or see the way
Yeah,
I
like-
picture it is like long, like lengthwise, and that's why you would have to limit it to something like 6 or 8 SCU. So it sticks out beyond the front, but it's only one box tall, so you could still see over it, but it would be your vehicle would be really long.
So the only problem with that is it would be really front heavy. The way I'm seeing it is maybe they could give it some like consolidated Outlands Xi'an anti-gravity tech or something, and then have the forks spread out widthwise to accommodate larger boxes. So then that way you could carry maybe a 2x2 or a 4 SCU crate in front of the mule, and it wouldn't be so front heavy from being super long that it would tip over. And conversely, you could also potentially carry 2 1x3s like widthwise. So again, it would look a little ridiculous because the mule would suddenly be turned into like a stubby T with a massive top. If you were looking at it from the top down, but it would definitely make it a lot more useful.
I mean, that's true, but then that becomes the only aspect that like physics is relevant, because even with a tractor beam, in theory, when you're a human lifting a 8 SCU crate would have inertia and mass to it that the lifter, the person operating the tractor beam, would have to handle physically, but that's kind of not the case. And so worrying about having a long container off the front of the mule and it tipping over is kind of anti the current physics meta, I guess.
That's also true. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah, like throwing a crate in space and catching it would pull the person with it, but it doesn't. It just stops. So there's some kind of anti mass magic happening when you're operating to a certain degree the tractor beams, because they have weight limits, right? So it kind of transfers all of that to the gun that you're using to move those boxes, I guess. And so the mule would operate the same way. Like the little claws would have basically tractor beams in them, and it would lift and carry the crates. It's not holding the mass up itself. It's the tractor beam that's doing it. So I can see where it would carry
I think
it
that's the solution.
like lengthwise, and you'd have probably a little bit of ability to float it up and down too, so that you could stack high enough. So if you were carrying
Right.
like 8s or 16s, like you could lock them to the grid, and then summarily attach other crates to the top of them.
So basically, your proposed solution is to essentially replace the tractor beam forks, or sorry, the regular forks on the mule with tractor beams, kind of like how the Vulture has the two freely controllable tractor beams on the front.
I mean, in
Yeah.
a way, yeah, but like
Just
if you look
turn
at
it
the
into a tractor beam
arms,
ship.
kind of. But if you look at the arms, they have like some kind of emitters inside of them, similar
Yeah,
to the
like
Vulture.
anti-gravity
Yeah.
grabbers of some sort.
So it would just be like, it pinches the side of the box, but it works like a tractor beam. Maybe it can move objects up and down and carry it without the distribution of weight really mattering all that much. So CIG, if you're listening, you can have that idea.
It's a free one, freebie.
Yeah, that one's free.
So, did any of you watch the video that they posted today for Inside Star Citizen about the inventory changes?
Yeah, I did.
Bits and pieces.
I did too. I kind of like it. I like what they're doing with the vending machines, as I'm going to call them.
Yeah, I wasn't so sure how those were going to work originally. I wasn't sure if you were going to have to interact with the new like UI that they built for it. But honestly, I'm really happy that the old inventory screen is still there. That you can still access it and look through your local inventory like normal. Because basically, for those who don't know, instead of being able to just walk into a location and press I and have access to your local inventory, you have to go to a kiosk. Kind of like if you were playing Minecraft and you wanted some items, you'd have to go open a chest and take the items out. But you could still see all the items in your inventory. Still, I have a lot of questions about how transferring multiple items from the ground into your inventory would work, but I am very happy that the local inventory screen is still there, because that is kind of one of the primary ways that I'm able to really effectively take stock of what I have. I still am not a huge fan of knickknacks at all. I think it's clunky, and it doesn't really present
I struggle.
everything.
I struggle using knickknacks. I've never once used it successfully or gotten any benefit out of that.
That's because it's
discover where
completely
things
backwards.
are. I barely use it at all. I think I've used it like maybe twice, and that's it. But
No,
usually I just
the
remember where I
problem-
put stuff.
The problem with knickknacks is you have to know where something is in order to find it in knickknacks, but you're going to knickknacks because you don't know where something is. Doesn't make any sense. So it's like if you have something on, I don't know, Crusader that you're looking for, and you're not anywhere near Crusader, and you're like, oh man, where is that, X object or whatever? Like, you have to go through each planet and each moon to find what you're looking for. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's
Well, I
built
think
like
the
a
key
catalog.
feature that's missing there is that they don't have a search functionality yet, but as they said in ISC, search is coming.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I go back to the moving stuff on the ground, I really want to see them address this, because I'm okay with the inventory changes. That's fine. But I've said it before, I'm sure, and I'm going to say it again, which is, if you go out on a looting run, right? If you're somebody who enjoys pilfering dead corpses, or sorry, that's a bit of an oxymoron. If you're an individual who enjoys pilfering bodies, let's just say, you kill people, you take their stuff. It could be NPCs, might not. But in either case, imagine you have a whole pile of bodies that you need to store their armor. How are you supposed to store it? Do you have to take off every single piece and put it into the inventory? Or can you just move them, like, if as long as you have a container open, can you move stuff that's on the ground next to you into the container? Because if you have to take off all of their armor and then put it on the ground and then move it into the inventory, it'll be really annoying. Because I would personally like to see, maybe, if there currently is no solution to that, and you have to do things one by one, I might actually like to see a system where you can just dump all the bodies in, like, the elevator, like the cargo elevator, and then just put it down, and then just have access to all this stuff. And then you'll have the added benefit of cleaning up the server. Like, the elevator would presumably just dispose of the bodies automatically, and that would free up some server resources, as well as give you all of the armor and everything that was in their pockets and such and so on and so forth.
That's just too easy, though. That they'll never do that.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but it would, because I am a huge proponent of the narrative that video games should be fun. I think that would be nice. And if they were going to try and, I don't know, balance it somehow, I guess they could there be some sort of time associated for doing that. Like if you give the terminal 200 bodies and you want to take the armor off of all of them, maybe it'll take, I don't know, 15 minutes or something.
Well, I know Star Citizen prides itself on being as like realistic and simmy as it can, but I also know that the devs multiple times have said that they find something they want to do, they figure out what the real world equivalent of it would be in game, and then they tone it back, make it fun. So I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where it becomes tedious to loot our spoils of war, because if it does, that literally ruins gameplay, and I don't think they want.
Nothing we will know until 3.24 comes out.
Yeah, that's one
And
aspect
if
of the demonstrations that's missing is kind of what that looting mechanic looks like now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, did you have any thoughts about the Armistice Zone changes for the hangars? Because I know I did, but I was curious to hear what you thought.
I think this actually works out because it solves a lot of issues, because you can now load up guns in your ship. You can easily pull out your tractor beam to move stuff onto the ship. With the hangars having a no armistice zone, someone sneaks into your hangar, just pop him in the ass.
Assuming they haven't popped you first. I don't think they mentioned it, but I mean they did say armistice zones were removed for the hangars. Does that also apply to invaders?
It does, but they have a 5-second cooldown. Basically, if they enter a hangar that isn't theirs, they're teleported out within a couple seconds.
Yeah,
But
that's
yes,
30
they can shoot
seconds.
back. They can shoot back.
30 seconds is a long time.
it's 5 seconds.
Is it?
I heard 30 on the video.
I heard 30 on the video.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that because, like, on one hand, it'll be nice to not have people trolling, because, even if they if they're allowed to shoot, since it's not their hangar, but it's an armistice free, like weapons free zone, then basically with that system, what they could do is just come in, kill you, and then be teleported out, and then come in and
Yeah,
either
but they'll
loot
still
your...
get the crime stat.
Well, they won't be able to just go straight to your hangar. They'd have to tag along with you in the elevator, I think.
So, I don't know. It seems... I'm on the fence about it because I think it could... I think that's a good anti-griefing measure to teleport them out because, if they could manage to get into the elevator with you every time without you knowing somehow, which it doesn't seem impossible because of server lag and everything, but if they were to continuously do that, then they could just keep killing you over and over again in this hypothetical scenario. But I also don't know if it would be better to just have them be trespassing, but they can't use their weapons and don't kick them out, because I don't know how else you're supposed to... Like, I'm trying to look at this from both sides, because if you were a pirate just trying to get, like, on their ship or get loot from their hangar, I feel like the way you could try and balance that is you have a high risk because you can't use your weapon, but you're also not being kicked out either. So you have the potential to get some reward out of this sneaky gameplay, but you also are at high risk because you're not, like, authorized to have a weapon in their space. They can very easily kill you if they see you. But, I feel like that might potentially be a better way to balance it.
I mean,
because...
my initial thought, based on what you're saying, Sean, is keep the armistice rules for everybody. Everybody can use weapons in a hangar, but the teleport out only applies to your personal persistent hangar at your home planet. If I fly to Everest and call in what they deemed in the video public hangars, this isn't my home, but
right.
I am renting a hangar. then that hangar doesn't have that teleport out feature. He still gets a trespassing notice. I still get like a pip that says there's somebody trespassing, but he's not teleported out. It
Right.
makes public hangars twice as dangerous.
That could work, and I don't think they ever mentioned a pip. I don't know if they're
Whatever,
necessarily.
you know.
Yeah,
Well, we
Hopefully I
also
get
don't
some
know how the
notification.
hangar situation is going to work for public hangars because they've only been talking about for our persistent hangars.
they did mention public hangars once.
Yeah, in the ISC, they said that public hangars you will claim ownership of when you call it, which means the trespassing rules will apply like it's your persistent hangar, but it just won't be the one you have all your toys laid out in. Pretty much.
Gotcha. So it should still have the cargo elevator to bring everything up.
No, we'll have a cargo elevator, yes, but not the ship elevator.
Gotcha. Well, that makes
No,
sense.
it has the ship elevator.
Well, it's a hangar.
You-
It should still have a ship elevator.
I
It
guess
has
you're
the
right.
ship elevator. Yeah, the only thing it doesn't have is all your personal items that you've left in the hangar because it's not.
Yep.
That one isn't persistent. It's a rental or whatever.
So here's how I
so-
see something happening, though. It's like you put together a crew, you have them help you load, and then go to your hangar and unload. And then once they've done that work, you just kick them from your party, and then they get teleported out of your hangar, and you don't have to pay them or anything.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could be a
Well,
problem
that would
as well.
That would be you, the instigator, figuring out how to scam people.
Look, they're
Don't
taking
ruin
away
it.
my
now,
ability
now we're thinking
to
of
steal
too many
ships
things
now.
to nitpick. You know.
Well, I mean,
I- yeah.
that's what we do. I mean, this is how you find other sort of emergent gameplay options. Is now we're kind of losing the ability to tag along behind somebody in an elevator and steal their ship.
Or sneak onto their Starfarer and scare the crap out of them with a friend in the toilet. That was a good night.
Yeah,
I mean,
they-
I guess so. I know that my friends who like to borrow people's cargo do it by camping out the buy sell points for specific cargo, and
yeah,
then
that's pretty common from what I've heard.
yeah, and I think that's the way it should be. Either camping out that, or camping out popular quantum routes, OM1, OM2, very most popular quantum routes of any planetary system, right? You camp
Yeah.
out there with the QED, or you camp out at Rappel or Brios or wherever, right? And then you jump on ships that way. I don't know if hangars should or could or would be a possible pirate hunting ground. I think hangars should be safe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird gray area in my opinion. I think what you said about the public hangars could be correct because they would still have to get into the elevator with you to make it there. So they would be safe by all accounts, as long as you're not being super careless.
Well, not in a public hangar.
Well, in a
they
public
could
hangar,
go to hangar
yeah.
10. And if you get
Right.
assigned hangar 10, you could fly in and somebody would be sitting.
Right. That's also true.
Because they showed that with the A2 shooting the guy down in ISC.
I feel like we might need more information.
Yeah, I think we're just hypothesizing about a lot of stuff right now.
Well-
Whereas what we should be talking about
Hopefully,
is
it gets dropped to the PTU soon.
Yeah, that would be nice.
have you guys been playing PTU at all?
No, because it's 323.
Oh, yeah, okay. But did
Yeah,
you
there's-
play PTU when 323 was PTU?
I did a little bit, but it was so bad that it was just
Mm-hmm.
impossible to really play it for any measurable amount of time.
I haven't.
The
I haven't
last time
even-
I...
Oh, go ahead.
Sean.
No, I was just saying I haven't even been able to play the game. I think if this laptop even supported DirectX 12, I think if I managed to launch the game, it would probably just explode.
Like my computer today. Last time I played PTU was I think Pyro Playground or whatever that was when everybody got into Pyro.
Oh,
And then
that was
before
fun.
that, it was the release of the course. Mm-hmm. Yep. It was before I even knew you guys.
I got a email to be that was inviting me into Evocati, but I couldn't do it because
What?
Yeah, it was but it was for the 323 Evocati, not the 324.
You had one job, Sean. One job was to
Listen,
become
man,
Evocati.
I didn't
So we had
have-
an inside source.
I didn't have time. I'm sure they'll offer it to me again.
They
Because
better.
when they offer you Evo, as far as I'm aware, granted, I could be wrong on this, but as far as I'm aware, the way I understand that it works is they offer it to you one time for one specific set of testing, and then once they're done with that specific set of testing, they're like, okay, if we need you again, we'll contact you, but then, you don't get access again until they need you.
Interesting.
That's my current understanding of how it works.
I thought it was like a group that you were just part of, and whenever they did Evo, you were part of it.
That's what I thought too, because I had a couple friends in an org who were Evos who are
don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure, but when I was reading through the terms and conditions of the contract that they sent me specifically, it was like a Google Sheets form. That's what it said. It said that it was a temporary thing. So I don't know. I might have also I had also skimmed it, so it's possible I just didn't read it correctly, but that was my understanding at least.
Was there like any typos in it, or maybe your uncle had died and left you a bunch of money? Okay.
Nigerian prince asking for help.
I even asked like through their what is it called, the support ticket thing. I literally opened one because I was like, is this a scam? And they were like, no. I was like,
no,
okay.
But you shouldn't have got that. Disregard.
Yeah.
Next day in the office meeting, it's, why the hell would you send that guy one?
Yeah, it's Chris Roberts himself.
Send it to this guy. You're all fired.
It's like, you sent it to one of our most potent critics. How could you do that?
So I think criticizing the game is okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it's.
You have to understand that when you love something and care about it, you also critique it.
Right, but criticism is different than just, being salty about it.
Yeah. Pooping on the game all the time is not healthy. Healthy criticism of like, hey, I think this could be better. I don't like this part. Maybe it could change. But we're still playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see that thing about God, I forget what they called it, but there's like it's called contested zones, I think.
The space contested zones?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Combat
What's it say
essentially,
here?
and you like get sequential sort of access to things, and then there's a quote unquote grand prize in the last one.
Where was it? I just saw it.
It kind of sounds like the Space Hunger Games.
Like new location type within space station designed for enhanced FPS gameplay experience. Basically, and I'm just quoting this from the roadmap real quick. Contested zones are a location feature coming to Pyro's space stations, introducing FPS gameplay with various layouts tailored for this purpose. The zone will feature a progression system requiring tokens to unlock different zones, giving access to the loot inside. Collecting all of the tokens will allow a player to open the final door and claim the grand prize. It's a tower. It's a tower climb.
It's what's it called? It's Ready Player One.
Yeah. Let's go on the hunt for the keys.
It's Ready Player One, but Xenothread is the host.
Right.
One of the other things I also saw was the asteroid bases.
Oh yeah, those look pretty sick.
Would you like me to read the blurb from the release view on that?
Yeah, go for it.
My
You
question
can be the
is
blurb guy.
when we can start building bases, would that be an option?
I don't think so, because I think that
yeah.
I would doubt that, because I think that what's going to happen is you're just going to have random floating bases all over the place, and it's going to be too much of a mess. Whereas at least by limiting it to planetary surfaces or moon surfaces, first of all, the game doesn't have to work as hard to like render all these different asteroid bases, because all of us want an asteroid base, right? I mean, why would you want a base on a planet when you could have a base on an asteroid and just go right out in space and continue on with your route? I want an asteroid base at least. Mike doesn't, but I do.
I don't.
Real quick,
dude.
the blurb, and then we can talk more, is implementing new asteroid bases scattered across space in asteroid clusters, gas clouds, and other areas of Pyro. From exploration-type gameplay to mission-based locations, these bases include both constrained interiors for potential FPS conflicts, as well as a space combat while reaching or fleeing from the location. You got to fight ships on the way in and out. You got to shoot people in the head while you're in there.
So it's SPK, but on an asteroid.
Yep, and
So
with
it's Grim
NPCs,
Hex,
more NPCs.
but SPK.
Well, to revisit briefly the concept of asteroid bases and bases in general, I don't. Another reason why I don't think it's going to happen is because the way that base building works is through a land grant system. They are relying on like charted areas of moons and planets, or maybe even just planets, as far as I know. But would have to be something that they can chart, because the way it was pitched to me long time ago was that like it would function similar to like a gold claim, where just putting your stake in the ground wasn't enough. Like you had to actually file that information, which is kind of another
Only
aspect
for
of
the
data
legal
running.
ones. It's
Right,
only for
so
the
you'd have
legal
to-
ones, though.
Yeah, for the legal ones, correct. But like you'd have to go and put your claim in and file it, and so multiple people could be vying for the same area of land, and the first one to file the claim gets it.
And especially with the idea of server meshing and it all being one universe, not just phasing in and out of parts of it, but it all being one universe. Like, I know that like my friends all want to be near Brios because we spent a lot of time near Brios. No one's going to be able to get there. It's going to be popular, right? Because it's one universe. It's not like I'm on World 12 Brios or I'm on US Server 152 Brios. No, it's eventually endgame. It's
Right.
one Daymar. I heard there were 3 different tiers of claims recently. When was that? A couple months
yes,
ago.
Yeah.
The way the claims will work is you'll have a lawful, a neutral, and then kind of like an unlawful. So the lawful one is you pay higher taxes, there's limited resources, but you get planetary protection. Like if someone attacks you, like the Navy will show up and defend your base. The next one is kind of like a neutral one where you pay a little bit of taxes. You can build some base defenses. You got a little bit more resources, and they're a little bit more laxed on the protection that they give you. And then the other one is basically unlawful. I say that because it's basically you're on your own, but
Yeah.
you have a chance of finding a lot of resources where you are. But you're
don't
on
pay
your
any
own.
taxes
You have to
either.
build your own guns. Own defenses. You have to defend yourself. You will get no help from nobody. But you don't really have to pay any taxes on it.
So you're like at the Bundy Ranch, basically.
See, but that does lead me to beg the question of, does that mean that potentially, if they were to allow it, maybe you could make only unlawful bases as asteroid bases? Because
I
I
think
know
that would be the solution if you're going to do asteroid bases, is that they are completely undefended by the Navy. They're completely up to your own ability to maintain or I also think that maybe you need to incorporate a decay function on them. That, like, if you're not,
I don't like
if
that.
you're not on, I know, but like you need to be able to clean it up, because if I go make an asteroid base and stop playing for 6 months, that asteroid base is just taking up resources, system resources, not like
yeah, but this
in-game
isn't
resources.
Rust. You know, it should depend. It should depend on whose base it is, and if it's actually being used or not. Because if something isn't being used, then I don't agree with the decay system at all.
Mhm.
I think it's really
Okay.
silly in general.
Look, you're
That's just
you're
my
entitled to
opinion.
your opinion, Sean, no matter how wrong it is.
Very funny.
The reason why I would be against it, at least in the lawful and maybe even the neutral ones, is that it costs money to get a claim. And so if you have that area and your base is gone, I feel like that would be not so great.
Yeah, I feel like the very nature of illegal bases are sufficient enough risk as it is, because if somebody finds it and they hammer it, they loot it, you're screwed. Like, you have no help. So, if you're a solo dude or 2 people even trying to like think you can sneakily get by settling several mining claims and thinking nobody's going to find them, and then people find them and take your stuff, like, well, you're SOL on that one. I feel like that's plenty risk, because if you play your cards smart, or play them right, and act smart, and you don't do stupid things like put an outpost next to a any discernible landmark that anybody could find. I think you definitely have more reward. And I also, if anything, I would say that probably would incentivize more exploration gameplay, because then maybe people who partake in the exploration gameplay or the scanning or scouting or whatever it is would maybe they find your base and maybe their whole thing is instead of attacking you, they just sell your base's coordinates to the biggest pirate gang or whatever, and then they come and take your stuff. You know what I mean?
Speaking of selling coordinates, we need a way to pin stuff and keep it pinned.
Yeah, I like to be able to
That's
just jump
my
to a
2 cents
random
on it.
location.
I don't think there needs to be decay because I think there's so many things that can go wrong already without having any sort of insurance or defense. Apart from whatever you can scrounge up yourself, I think that's more than enough risk.
You've convinced me, sir.
Well, and it's also, they're probably going to limit the size of the asteroids too, because
Yeah, I'm
obviously
pretty
you're not
sure-
going to build a base on an asteroid the size of a Titan.
I'm pretty sure
That's no
also
moon.
that illegal bases can only be under a certain size, anyways. I think they have a size limit. If I remember, I'm fairly certain they mentioned that because the legal bases, I would imagine that they get big enough that they get noticed. So for illegal bases, you can only I swear I heard this somewhere.
Yeah, the lowest tier one, the one with no defenses, has the smallest space maximum. Yeah, that's it's the smallest land plot you can build on, and then
Right.
as you pay more and get more UEE resource defense, is the bigger you can build.
Right. Because I think that makes sense too in general. Because if you think about it, if you built an illegal base too big, it would get noticed immediately.
Well, yeah, if you build it, they will come.
Thank you, Garth.
I did see that they also said they were planning to allow people to build space stations potentially. They said they were looking into that at the very
I'm
least.
going to build my own space station, blackjack and hookers.
Dude, we could just make the Crystal Palace from Cyberpunk. The big gambling space station, hotel, resort.
As long as the signs you can craft aren't like Minecraft signs that are just 2 chunks of wood and some charcoal. We can do
Yeah,
like neon signs, kind of like the way
Oh,
they have
dude.
them at
I'd
Outposts.
love that. I would love putting huge neon signs. It's like, blackjack, here, please come, spend your credit,
At Joe.
win big.
Well, there is gambling at Grim Hex. I wonder if that would be something that could extend to our base.
Yeah, don't they have space races?
Yeah, they have races. I wonder what is racing? Do you know? Is it Quasi Grazers that are racing?
No,
I
I
don't
think
know,
it's
dude.
I think it's actual space races, like Miner's Lament.
I know
Oh, it's
Miner's
ships.
Lament is a track.
Yeah.
Because Grim Hex has a track.
Oh no. Like if you go inside the station, there's like betting terminals and
No, I know.
screens
I'm
and
thinking
stuff.
they're
Okay.
I'm thinking they're for in-universe space race, ship races.
Because doesn't Miner's Lament circle Grimhex and go
It
by
does.
that window?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, so I don't know. That makes sense to me. But anyway,
I mean,
uh,
speaking of races, Daymar rallies. Really.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No.
But we're trying to keep it PG here. No, so I was thinking, as cool as an asteroid base would be, I also wouldn't be upset if they didn't include that, as long if we could build our own space stations. And granted, I'm not looking for a huge, ginormous space station. I would be perfectly happy with building something that's like, I don't know, the size of an Idris or something, which is still pretty big, but it's not as nearly as big as all the space stations that exist
Some place
in
with
game
a little
currently.
habitation area, a landing pad, and some turrets.
Let me build
Yeah.
something that's the size of the first floor at any of the space stations we go to.
Yeah,
Right, like
even
no
that would be
Galleria.
fine.
No, you maybe like one Galleria stall instead of the food court upstairs, right? Like just that first level with the habs, the medic, and the hangars.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really don't need a ton of space. Just enough space to have like a couple hangars maybe, and some living quarters and whatever.
As long as I have
Maybe
my own
some-
room, I don't want Alex rifling through my things.
Got any games? I can't
Got any
see.
games on your phone?
Yeah, I can't even open my Moby Glass without him asking me if I have any games on it.
Mom said it's my turn to play games.
Playing games with my heart enough.
You guys remember when we were going cave exploring for what was that rare gem that we never found?
I forgot the name already.
Yeah, I'm
I never
blanking.
found it. It was
I
like
have
it was
never
like
seen it.
Jolinite or something.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Janelite.
Janelite. There you
We're
go.
adding new caves.
Yeah, the acid
Was that when we
cave.
started calling in the rescue people?
No, that wasn't with me.
Yeah, I don't know if that was that time, but
I
No.
remember we did that because we got bored.
But, well, that
Yeah.
tracks.
You
That tracks for
got
us.
somebody got like a CS5, and we sat down in the bottom of a cave, and
It was
people
Tuesday
would
and I.
Yeah, people would trickle in, and you just mow them down as they came through the cave entrance.
I remember just having a ton of oxy pens and med pens.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's what you would need.
and we couldn't eat anything either because the cave had no.
Can't take
tubes,
off
so
your
it was
helmet.
like- yeah.
oh, you know
So-
what? That reminds me. Sorry, kind of sidetrack here, but one of the escapades that I wish had panned out and never did was when I would offer a bounty on a Pico doll, and nobody ever took us up on it. Like, I was gonna pay millions of dollars to get somebody to just bring me a Pico, and they never did.
No?
Yeah,
It's like a horrible drug exchange. Just leave the Pico. All right, here's your money.
leave the
Just
Pico.
leave the Pico and walk away. Your money will be in your account later. So there are 2 new caves coming up, guys, for 4.0. Acidic caves, implementing the acidic cave archetype, coming to both Pyro and Stanton, adorned with luminous pools of water, drastic stalactites and stalagmites. These caverns provide a captivating setting for exploration, FPS missions, and missing person missions. Then we have the
So-
rock caves, which reads exactly the same, except for illuminated by bioluminescent mushrooms.
I think the mushrooms sound cool.
Aren't there supposed to be
Mushrooms
some
are
like
pretty cool.
caves on
Isn't that-
asteroids too that they're talking about?
I thought that sentence was going a lot differently when we were talking about mushrooms. Caves on
Is-
acid?
Asteroids.
But isn't
were
the
you trying to
rock
say, Mike?
cave? Isn't the rock cave just a rework of the original caves?
I think so.
Yeah, and I mean, the acidic caves sound like some of the caves we already have. Like, I feel like some of the caves I've been in on Daymar have pools of water in them.
So just replacing water with acid.
That's didn't even. It said pools of water. It says luminous water pools and unique geology.
I
Oh.
don't know. I'll give them the
That's
benefit of
weird.
the doubt on this one.
I think it's cool that they're expanding upon the cave system. I feel like it's a underlooked feature. I feel like not a lot of people go cave diving in Star Citizen.
I really want them
It's
to
so easy
make
to get lost.
more big
Bring closer.
caves. Like
Big
caves you
caves?
can drive vehicles into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like vehicle-sized caves, and then on another aspect of caves that I want, as long as they're working on them, I would like them to either remove all the areas where you can get stuck, or give us the ability to get ourselves unstuck.
Yeah. What if
'Cause I've
like
been-
a grapple?
I'll just settle for
attached to your
drivable roads.
I mean, I don't really care. Like, it's as simple as an unstick key that just moves you
Yeah.
like 2 feet over or
Yeah.
something. It's like every cave I go into, I get stuck.
Even Warframe has that, and that game is arguably, well, I mean, still has some issues, but it's a lot more polished than Star Citizen is.
I love Warframe.
They have an unstick key, and it has a cooldown of like 5 minutes or something. Yeah, but you know, I think every game should have that, like or every multiplayer game at the very least.
That's fair.
I think
New
it's
game I'm
useful.
playing has it. I'm playing Once
Like-
Human right now.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a feature that can potentially be abused, but also it's like I feel like it's essential. And
So
giving
I'm
it a
sharing an
cooldown
image of
time.
the acidic cave right there.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, see, that
Which,
kind of looks like every cave we've been in.
I guess
Yeah,
the
but
only
it
difference
does-
is these sort of like,
rock formations.
yeah, I forget what they call these, but in Texas we have a lot of
Stalactites.
caves like this, but they are technically still like mites because they're on the ground. But
Well, okay, you know.
these mineral
Sorry, I was
formations.
looking at the ones in the back.
Oh, okay, all right. Yes, these are stalactites. But yeah, I don't know. This looks pretty different in general.
Yeah,
I-
I think
I-
it'll be cool to go exploring.
I kind of low key hope that the acid pools damage you. That would be at least
That'd be cool.
interesting.
That would be
Like
cool.
if you stand in one, you
Standing
just
in
get a
there, why
tier
are they
3 leg
burning?
injury.
Would it though? I mean, you're wearing a suit that can survive in space.
Yeah, but if
Maybe it
acid,
eventually destroys your piece of armor.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would
I know,
require armor having durability.
which it
Well, I
will.
think that's the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't hold your breath. It's coming.
Soon,
Come on,
TM.
buddy.
So, I did want to circle back to hangers for a second, because I did want to touch on this was a point that I saw brought up in a little video that I saw when I was doing some research. It occurred to me that Mike, you never experienced the old hanger module, did you?
What do you mean? Like the ones that
Where-
came bundled with a ship?
Yes, where you could like it was back in
13.
I think the last time they were in the game was 3.13, but you could
Yeah,
go
it's
into
before
the
my
hangar and spectate your ships. It was like a pseudo photo mode, but not like that kind of environment, so to speak. But you had different hangars that you could look, depending on what ship you bought, they would come bundled with a certain type or style of hangar, and then you could go in and look around your ships and stuff with them.
Yeah, I was never able to. And actually, when I joined, they had just removed it. So I'm guessing I joined in 3.14.
Yes, I believe
and
so.
It was bundled with the ship that I bought, and I was like, I don't understand how to get to this supposed hangar I'm supposed to have. And actually messaged them for support. I was like, hey man, where's this hangar I'm supposed to have? And they're like, oh, we removed them. And I was like, oh, okay, great.
So, I know Dave never had any experience with them, and I don't think you did either, Alex. But when I first started playing, it was in like 3.11 or 3.10. I don't remember precisely, but we had the hangars for a couple of patches. I know Timmy remembers them, but then when they took them out, I always was under the impression that they were going to add them back in some way in the future, like probably not identical, but just in some way. So with the addition of persistent hangars now, I do wonder if they will be updating the old ones at all, or even just outright replacing them with better ones with new assets that they have. Because I still think that the hangars, the persistent hangars that they've shown us now, do kind of have some fundamental issues with them. Namely, that I feel like it's short-sighted that we only have one vehicle elevator in the middle of the hangar. I think there needs to be like a smaller one for maybe like small-sized ships. To give you an example, I know that the Pisces is too big to bring up in the freight elevator, but if you have a C2, for example, in an extra large hangar, and you want to put the Pisces in it, you have to bring up the Pisces first, and then the C2, which, yeah, I guess that's possible or whatever. Like it is possible, but then you have to do all this extra logistical planning instead of just having another elevator that you can bring up not just the Pisces, but also ground vehicles or whatever else you need.
That's just a temporary problem, though, isn't it? Isn't the plan
Yeah.
to allow you to spawn a ship with a ship inside of it if it has space
that,
for it?
that is also true, but I also do wonder about just because in certain hangars that they've shown off, like the hangars, I think it's the hangars primarily in Lorville and Area 18, they don't have a lot of room around the outer edge of the hangar to put stuff. The only ones that really have enough room because of the style of the hangar is the hangars in
The AeroView
Orson.
hangars, essentially,
Yeah, the
which
AeroView
are
hangars.
Orson and Microtech.
Yes, exactly.
Didn't they just say in ISC that they just reworked all those other hangars to add more room on the side?
No,
they did
just
say that they
changed-
made them larger, yeah.
They said that they put they put the small ships in medium, or a lot of small ships in medium hangars to give them more room. So
Yeah,
Like
and then they said they added more space on
Spirit.
the sides. Yeah, Spirit was the one they were showcasing. They said
Yeah,
they
but I don't-
made everything bigger and then moved those small that should be medium ships up a size.
Yeah,
But the
they
problem
made
is I'm
your
not-
your personal hangar larger because they also said so you could fit more stuff essentially around it.
right. But in the footage that I saw, at least, I'm not convinced that they're big enough to store a bunch of vehicles around the perimeter, right? And I'm thinking specifically like ground vehicles, so that you don't have to waste time bringing them up every time that you're trying to get them for whatever you need. I feel like a hangar should have a dedicated parking garage, not like a whole parking garage, but just like some parking spots that are kind of tucked away inside the wall. And they don't have that. I think the AeroView hangars have something that's like very similar to that, but it's occupied by a bunch of like cargo props and different things that don't actually work. But the Lorville and I don't remember what they're called. It's like the VGF industrial hangar or something. Those style, they don't have anything like that on the perimeter. It's all like the landing platform is elevated, and then there's like a step down into a lower area that again is kind of just like set dressing, and it doesn't really do anything.
So basically, you're saying on a large and bigger hangar, you want an extra small elevator in addition to pull up small shit.
I think that would be nice, or at the very least, like some dedicated areas to put things.
Yeah, a spot for things to park, or maybe I'm blanking on the name, but the little pads they have at landing zones.
The
Platinum Bay.
Platinum Bay, yeah, the little Platinum Bay pads.
Yeah, oh, dude, that would be perfect, because even as an interim solution, like if they had to do this quick and dirty, they could literally just slap a Platinum Bay pad in there and have like a separate spawn terminal,
Yeah, because that already has the sizing kind of separated out.
Yep. Because anything that can spawn on a Platinum Bay, I feel like could possibly be an extra small and would be something you load into another
something
ship.
Else. Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Merlin or a Pisces or a Rock.
The Arger Carger, which you kind of need anyway.
Yeah, I think if you, let's say, for example, you own a Liberator, and I'm going to use the Liberator again for this example since it is a shipping ship for shipping your ships. But if you have a Liberator, and let's say you're going to use it as a mining platform, so you want to load it up with like 3 prospectors or something, or as a mobile like mining operation. And this is operating off the assumption that you're not allowed to preload those prospectors into the cargo hold, or onto the landing pads of the Liberator while it's still stored in the warehouse, as they have referred to it as. I don't know if I'm not convinced that the hangars, at least as they are big enough to take out a prospector and fly it around in the hangar and find somewhere to put it, and then take out another one and find somewhere to put it, and then take out another one and find somewhere to put it, and then also take out the Liberator, without causing some major catastrophe.
Agreed.
And like I said, this is still operating on the pre-notion that loading stuff into another ship while it's still stored doesn't work. But if there's also, I think it's quite a valid concern, because if there's a loading time associated with that, you might want to park them manually. So yeah. I think it's a valid concern at the very least.
I agree. I don't know if that will be like an immediate fix, but I agree with what you're saying, that there needs to be a way for us to load up our ironclads or our Liberators with ships that are bigger in that style of hangar,
and maybe
in our persistent hangar.
Yeah, and maybe what you said is also just a good solution, like ships that have an extra large or whatever sized hangar it is, they also get a second hangar elevator for logistical purposes.
Because, like, for me, I know I have the Hercules. That's one of my pledges. So my persistent hangar is going to be big enough for a Herc, which I think is like the large or the extra large. Regardless, it's one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, I think it's an extra large, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but regardless, like, my Herc sometimes could be loaded up with Furies or a Rocks or an Ursa or a Nova, right? How am I getting that onto the Herc? If I had an extra small freight ship elevator nearby, or even a Platinum Bay pad, either or, they're interchangeable in this example, then I could pull the Herc, open the doors, and start pulling vehicles in.
Right.
Whereas I'm not doing that with the Spirit. Yes, you want to put your Rock in a Spirit or something like that, but like the Rock can probably fit off to the side on your hangar. But if the Spirit is the largest ship I have, 9 times out of 10 I'm not loading stuff into it. Same with the Cutlass, same with that size ship. But anything bigger than that, you're usually loading a ship into something, or something into the ship. if you've got a Hercules or something like that.
Yeah, I think just as a very, very small nitpick that's not even related to kind of what I was like my main points. I also think it's unfortunate that we've lost the kind of unique aesthetic that the old hangars had. I hope that they kind of try to bring that back in some way, but it is unfortunate that whoever made those hangars, whatever people worked on it, it's just poof, they're just gone. It's unfortunate.
When you talk about the old hangars, all I can picture is you as an old man going, back in my day, Star Citizen, we had high
Not
quality
really.
hangars.
That's exactly what I'm picturing.
The hangars themselves were just really cool in concept. I don't think they were actually that great. I mean, they looked cool, but the textures weren't great, and they're definitely. I think especially the Hampshire and York hangar, I think it was called, the big, like, the huge ass white, like, blinding white lights, that hangar. I don't think it made that much sense. Because it's almost like too big. I think I'm. Granted, I never saw an 890 jump in there, but I'm almost convinced that hangar was big enough that you could probably have an Idris in there. So, it's like,
Talking about like Hangar 13 and Grim Hex size,
yeah, but
but it was
bigger.
in micro.
No,
right?
actually, no. You're right. It was like pretty much hangar 13 Grim Hex size type hangar.
Yeah, but it was at Microtech. I think when
No,
I
no,
had
it wasn't
the,
at Microtech. The Yorkshire and Hamp, or whatever the frick it's called, that hangar, it was just all white, but it was like pristine. It was like being in a giant Apple store, and then you had balconies on either side with like leather seats and stuff that you couldn't sit in. You could just look at them, but and you had like glass elevators that went all the way up to the highest floor, which had a like a big balcony and stuff. And it's I don't think that specific hangar is as practical or makes as much sense as it probably used to back when they first came up with it. But I think at the very least it's unfortunate that they're kind of losing that uniqueness to them.
It was Revel and York.
Okay, close enough.
I'm looking for a good picture of it.
But yeah, I think at the bare minimum, like I said, like we've been talking about, I think it would be nice to have some like parking spaces for stuff, and potentially another elevator for logistics, or as an interim solution, potentially a Platinum Bay spawn pad. But yeah,
see, that picture reminds me of like a map for Battlefront 2, the old-fashioned one.
It does look
Like,
pretty ancient.
and I just picture being a stormtrooper, and there's droids up on that balcony, and I've got my upgraded assault rifle. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. See, but I really do appreciate how unique this hangar is.
Yeah.
And I think at the very least, like I said, even though it doesn't really matter as much in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, it's unfortunate that somebody's art is now going to waste.
It might
I mean,
not.
unless they
Maybe
have
that
something.
becomes maybe you can choose to have like a paint scheme for your persistent hangar and be like, okay, I'm gonna pay, $20 on the pledge store to have that paint scheme applied to my persistent hangar.
I'm going to make it all purdy.
Yeah, I mean, we are in the infancy now, yet again, for hangars that aren't standard hangars. So what we have now could be what vanishes and gets replaced by what we pledged, I guess, is a way to describe it.
Yeah. And that's possible too. I'm merely stating my thoughts on how it is here and now, because that's what's most tangible.
Well, how dare you, sir? How dare you?
Oh no. How dare I?
I'm excited to decorate my hangar. I'm excited to, pull out my rock and stick it off in a corner and put some boxes around it. So then every time I want to go rock mining, just pull up the MSR, drive it up in there, have a table
I think it's
full
going to
of
be
guns.
nice. That's where we're going to be doing the streams from.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we're going to
these
set up a little
from Mike's
podcast
hangar.
studio.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So we
Mike
need
Game
a couple
Runs.
couches and stuff.
I've already got a pretty good idea of how we could set up a mock.
No, that's it. Any plans you
podcast
had just got thrown out the window Tuesday.
Yeah, now it's just 4.5 hours of tedious layout one pixel
Let's
at a
go.
time.
I love it. I love
One
it.
pixel.
I love games like that. Like I said, I'm playing a survival game right now, and I love base building. I cannot wait for that kind of stuff to come in Star Citizen, where I will spend an 8-hour gaming session meticulously placing things in my base to make it look perfect.
What I'm going to have to do is when the base building starts, I'm just going to leave my Galaxy for Sean and just let him have at it because I'm not going to be part of it.
Yeah.
Sean
I'm
and I
gonna
will
just-
get it built. Don't worry.
I'm
No,
gonna
no,
put
it'll
everything
just
on
be
the
Sean.
I'm gonna put everything out on the floor and like kind of put it more or less where I want it, and then let Sean spend like 12 hours arranging it.
Meticulously moving
Yeah.
things. This med pen
Listen.
needs to be rotated 3 degrees to the left to look like
Listen, the
It's exactly how it is.
Fallout 4 especially completely ruined my self control in terms of how it
No.
comes to base
Fallout
decorating.
76,
Oh,
I
here we
built a
go.
Waffle
oh
House.
my god.
I
Here
built
we
a
go.
Waffle House in Fallout 76. He was having an aneurysm when I started making changes to my base.
Because you made
No,
the ceiling
don't
too
change
tall.
it. It was
doesn't look like a
perfect.
Waffle House.
That's
You
awesome.
picture Sean goes to an actual Waffle House to get the interior dimensions of it.
Yeah, no, the chair needs to be this far apart from the bar, be uncomfortably close when the waitress has to stand in
Dude,
front.
this is what happens when you put somebody with OCD in a room and tells them to make it a certain way, and then it's
Oh yeah,
No, it's
no,
not
I'm,
wrong.
I'm at the
I'm
point
with
where
you,
I'm
It's
like,
buddy.
not wrong.
it's fine. It's
It's
fine.
just
It's
funny.
fine. No. We got to put this here. We got to put this here. It's fine. No, it's not. No, it's not.
I think
You're
the
just
important
lucky
thing
that I've
is
No, go ahead.
recognizing the way you are. Is like when we were in the reclaimer and we were still munching to get a bunch of RMC, and I would just toss the boxes anywhere because I don't want to stack
Oh,
them.
that
but
drives
I,
me up a wall.
But I knew you
That drives-
would, so I just tossed them somewhere so that you would take the time to organize them.
Oh, we triggered him.
Oh yeah, no. I'm a stacker. Like I had everything perfectly stacked in a reclaimer. I'm like, if we stack this right, guys, we can get another 20 boxes out of this load. Like, come on, work with me here. I need you to pop. I need 5 2 SCU chests right now to stack this correct. Give me 5 2 SCU chests.
No, I
Look,
just throw them wherever
they're-
until they start phasing out of the ship, and then I throw them somewhere else.
No.
Look, there are some instances where I have learned to relinquish, but there's
Really? I haven't
Like-
seen it.
Oh yeah, I know because they're very rare. Like the other day I was playing Minecraft with Timmy, and he had a trapdoor turned around, and it was not in line with the other
Oh
trapdoors.
no.
And I turned it back around, and then later he got really pissed at me. He was like, I wanted it like that so I could put a block next to it if I want to. And I'm like, okay, then change it back if you put the block next to it. But in the meantime, leave it in line. Like, it just...
My
So,
buddy
yeah.
Terry, he's a little bit willy-nilly with his builds, and we're playing this Once Human right now. Sorry to go on
Yeah.
a different game tangent here, but it's got base building, and it's very similar to like Fallout 76 style base building, where it's like foundations and walls, and everything's it's not as modular as you want it to be. And my bases are pristine. Like, I got spiral staircases and glass towers, and everything's in the right spot. And he just built a big old square, loaded threw his workbenches in there willy-nilly, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm Team Terry on this one.
I
think-
know you are.
I think Sean and I are the two extremes. Like, I will just build whatever just to get it done, and he'll spend hours doing one thing to make it perfect. And then somewhere in the middle is Alex. He kind of tries. Like in Power World, I was like, okay, I'm gonna build this base, and it was just a cube with like 2 stories. Because for some reason, I like to have 2 stories when I'm doing a base. And,
Yeah,
I
I do too.
perfected the cube.
and then Alex went through and had to fix it all up and rearrange things.
No, I still kept it like the cube.
But he didn't do
but,
it
you know.
too much.
I
Yeah,
think
my
I
base
built
in Once
him-
Human right now is like a star shape with a central tower in the center, and the bottom is all my basically your pals for Once Human. All my pals and their storage containers, and then upstairs is all the crafting, and the top floor is all my defensive stuff. And it's it's a nice
in
base.
Power World now. My new base looks like an Amazon warehouse.
Does
It's
it?
just this,
Look,
it's
with
just this
all the conveyor
cube.
belts.
it's just a 3-story cube because it's
I
most
saw
space
one in
efficient.
I saw one in Power World that I in a server I joined. The giant glass cube, because they used the new glass walls. Giant glass cube, and it's just like that's it. Their entire base, their entire territory structure, their entire territory limit. One giant glass cube. They found the flattest spot they could. Giant glass cube, and I was like, this is so boring. Like,
That
sounds
okay, cool, you
perfect.
kind of divvied
Professional.
up areas in there. I'm like, but no, like, make something cool.
But it's efficient.
Look, Mike, if it makes you feel any better, I know that at the very least the bases on planets are all prefabs, so I'm not even going to be able to do anything like more unique than Subnautica. And you can't really, oh, I guess you can place decorations in Subnautica, but like as far as the base itself goes, you can't really do much with it in terms of how
Yeah.
it looks. So, you're only going to have to worry about me being OCD over, I don't know, probably less
Decorations.
than half of the actual building project.
Yeah. Well,
That's
don't
fine.
forget, Sean, we don't want the mining station next to the sleeping quarters because it's going to be too loud.
No, I don't care. See, that part, that I don't really care about as much. Like, the layout is something that you can really change kind of based on your use case. And, if it's like a rough and dirty mining facility, you're just going to have to deal with the drill running next to your head during the night,
Absolutely not. I refuse. I will revolt.
As long as
I
there's a
wanna
way to lock
unionize.
Alex out, I'm fine. Because what he
Look,
doesn't
all I know
realize
is I don't want to sleep next to Alex, because the moment he takes that armor off, it's going to smell like ripe onions.
And I'm not gonna lie, I fucking snore.
Oh, no. Maybe I do need the mining drill nearby. Drown out the snoring.
'Cause you make me sleep on my ship.
Yeah, with the
Just like-
copians out with the quasi grazers.
Yeah, there you go. Get some purple milk.
He gets to sleep in the
Oh, I
airlock.
hope it is purple.
And just hope that nobody forgets about it when they go to cycle it in the morning.
Where is it? Where's Alex? Oh, he just flew by the window.
There he is.
So what Alex doesn't realize is that at our former Power World base, a lot of the walls were false, and there's a lot of chests in there that I hid from him.
No, really?
Yeah,
Your cube was actually one row smaller?
yeah, imperceptibly, one
clever.
chest narrower.
It's
Yeah.
clever.
He held.
I hope we
he
can
hid,
make
he
false
hid all of
walls
his
in
goodies while I mass produced everything else.
Yep,
Yep.
he was my
It would be pretty
manufacturer.
cool if we could make false walls in the bases or something. Like, I doubt it. I really doubt it, but it would be cool.
No, look, you have the just let me put the MSR, wall panel in. To get
I
into
mean,
the underground.
you could probably make something crafty using props, but then presumably people would be able to move them with the tractor beam. So I very much doubt it would fool anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, you never know, because people can be pretty stupid sometimes.
That's fair.
I don't even know what you would be hiding though, because it's not like you can hide cargo like that.
Hide our
We have a
videos.
release date for
There's not really a
324
need
yet.
to.
They
I
think
feel
it's
like
gonna move to the
tomorrow's
PTU within-
Really, that feels rather optimistic.
They're thinking
Yeah.
within the next week for the PTU.
That's what I'm thinking.
They keep pushing back 4.0. They're like, oh yeah, they're still saying third quarter. I'm like, bullshit.
That sucker's not coming out till next year.
Yeah.
2
Whatever they
years
say, I
since
add
Pyro
like
announced
2
it.
months on too.
I don't know, dude. They seemed pretty confident that they could get it out by Q3, but I'm not
Well,
convinced.
Q3 ends October 1st.
I know that's
Jeez.
that's the funny part.
They have 2 months to get it out.
I don't know why they seem so confident they can get this all out before SitCon, but they seem confident. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe, but I don't think. And it's not that I don't believe in them, but I don't know if they can do this because the server meshing, especially, I've heard has been causing a lot of headache for them. So, I don't know, dude.
What's the next event?
Is it the blockade runner you're talking about?
I think so.
No, what's the next ship sale event?
Oh,
IAE, isn't it?
SitCon. No, SitCon
It's a
first.
SitCon.
Sitcon is November.
Yes.
No, October.
October.
SitCon is late September, early October, and then IAE is November.
Okay,
Usually, unless they change it. We'll see.
SitCon is October 19th.
as long as it's not a wet fart like Alien Week was.
I don't even remember Alien Week.
Alien Week is always a wet fart, dude.
Yeah.
There was an interesting one like 2 Alien Weeks ago.
Is that the one with the Solian?
Actually, was it, or was it the Railgun one? I think it was the Railgun one.
I
Kind of interesting.
I just think
Interesting
that
marketing
alien
and stuff.
ships that are only fighters are just not really that interesting, in my opinion. It's like the Sulian has been the most interesting alien ship like to date, in my opinion, because it like actually has things going on in it. The Bandit Defender is meh, and then the other ones are just kind of meh. In terms of my feelings of excitement towards them, I should clarify.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I'm generally not interested in them, but the marketing for one of them was really funny and cool. At the time, the ship was interesting. I guess that was before the current sort of ship meta. But now, I don't know. I'm not a dogfighter, so a lot of those ships aren't for me anyway. And
Yeah,
that's
I'm not a dogfighter either. I tried so hard to be one.
I just need to get new. I need to get used to the flight tuning, the new flight tuning.
Yeah, Sean, the pilot, get better, bro.
Stop crashing us in the planets.
At least I'm not the one who left their
Asteroids.
Starfarer wide open.
I was 2 weeks into the game.
No. Sean did crash us into a couple planets.
yeah.
That was
and-
great. And you know what? I thought I did a pretty good job of not leaving it open, but you guys 0G'd in underneath through the airlock. And I'm thinking I'm on a landing pad. Nobody can jump up through this airlock. Nope, but you and Mike figured out a way.
I mean, that's kind of our thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
great.
if there's a will, there's a way. Mike will bring chaos.
Yeah.
And then
we
there was
made-
Jackal in the bathroom. What's that
Yeah.
noise, guys?
We made a great friend that day.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was a good night.
I still remember when he fell out of the ship, and we had to like sheepishly admit to you that he
He was with us. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like chasing him around with a gun on my own ship. For those of you guys who don't know the backstory between me, Mike, and Sean, I'm brand new to the game. I had just bought a Starfarer. I thought I was cool shit, flying around with my refueling ship. I got it parked on a landing pad at, I don't know, somewhere Everest maybe. And all of a
Heard
sudden,
by Genie.
I think it might have been a by Genie. Mike and Sean show up and they start talking to me in Prox chat, and then I get into their Discord with them, and we're talking, and they got onto my ship, and I thought they were going to pirate me. It was what it was. I'd accepted my fate at this point, but we were still having fun. They take off in my ship. I'm with them. We're talking. We hear I hear this noise in Prox chat. It's Jackal. Our friend Jack, sorry, and he's hiding in the bathroom of the Starfarer, making like a re screech noise on Prox chat. So I hunt him down, and I'm chasing him through the Starfarer with a pistol drawn, and he jumps out the rear cargo bay. At that point, Mike and Sean go, "We got to go back for him." I'm like, "What? He was one of you guys? You guys were just trolling me?" It was great. It was a great night.
So, and I can't even blame you because it was a long time ago for mixing up some of the details. However, I am
yeah?
going to correct you. Yeah. So what happened was, and you're mostly right. You only got a couple things mixed up, which was, you didn't join until after the whole shenanigans. What happened first was I took the ship for a joyride, and I like.
That's right.
Yeah, I like flew it all around the station, and according to your account later was you crapped your pants because you had filled it with fuel or something, and you thought I was going to smack it into the station, which I didn't. And then when I landed, I got out of the seat, and I was like, you should make sure you lock your doors next time.
That's exactly right. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. That was such a good
But
time.
then after that, I think
We
we
asked
had
you for a
gotten,
ride.
Yeah, we asked you for a ride, but then like, I think Jackal either pretended to steal it or something. But then I don't remember if you got thrown off the ship or something. But then we brought it back to you, and then when you got back on, I think that's when the Jackal started making the noises. And
Yeah.
what happened when you finally caught up to him was you knocked him out, and then he fell through the floor out into space.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in Quantum because our backup plan was to kill you we
In
wouldn't get
Quantum,
a crime
yeah.
stat. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But
still
then-
so much fun.
Yeah, but then Mike was like, "Nah, he's too chill. We gotta." and then he sent you a server invite to Discord.
Oh,
And
okay.
then,
Yeah.
and then that's when you got it. It's like we gotta
Perfect.
go back for Jackal.
It's still like when I talk to people about emerging gameplay, that is my favorite example of how to make friends
Yeah.
in Star Citizen. Such a
Yeah.
good time.
But I think I don't Dave. I don't think you were there because I think we've told this story, Mike, the one about the Hammerhead, that whole debacle. I don't remember if we told this story.
We talked about it here, I think, but I don't believe Dave was there.
No, I don't. I'm pretty sure he wasn't. But and we can tell it to you again when off stream, Dave, too. But long story short, salty guy was hiring gunners or some
this
I
guy.
don't know, rude guy. Didn't know he was rude. Ended up being rude. Mike and I didn't like him, so sabotaged the Hammerhead. Killed the crew
Nice.
twice.
Oh no.
Dude got mad. He didn't even know it was us. Dude got mad. Third time around,
Well, he
I
knew
think
it was
we
me.
We stole the Hammerhead from him, and then he
Perfect.
was super mad. We had somebody on the inside pretend to like kill us. Basically and then he came in, and then the guy on the inside killed him. He was raving mad at that point. We basically led him on a wild goose chase. He showed up in an Ares Ion. We were at Han, of course, HTMS Han.
Yeah.
I snipe his wing off with the tank. He smacks
Beautiful.
he glances off the hammerhead,
His
which
own
had been
hammerhead.
floating in the air. Yeah, and then he slams into a mountain and explodes. And at that point, he rage quit.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I was pirating with a buddy, and we're trying to figure out a way to steal a reclaimer full of cargo. And one of our go-to strategies is to, when somebody's posting in chat saying, "Hey, we want reclaimer crew," one of us will go work it and be the inside man as like a quantum beacon, or to help
Right.
help our buddies get to it. Right. So we both end up getting hired by the same guy because we're both going to be inside men. And so the crew is this guy and me and my friend, and we have a third friend who's going to be the pirate, who's gonna come in and disable the ship and help us unload. And as we're starting to go off and do some salvage, right? Hammerheads. Back when that was what you did, you went to the illegal hammerhead, scraped it, RMC'd it, whatever. My buddy, who's the pirate, goes, "Guys, you realize that right now, if this guy splits evenly with you guys, you're making 2/3 of the money, which would be the same amount of split if we pirated it. Why don't you guys just work for him for the night?" And so we spent 8 hours working on a reclaimer's legitimate crew instead of pirating it, because it would have been the same payout either way.
Right.
Sometimes that's how it works out.
We ended up recruiting the
honest-
pilot to our org, and he became a pirate with us.
It's honest work, as they say. Saying
Or,
word.
I think most recently, Mike and I, some guy was looking for a crew, and we got into the reclaimer. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't really know how to fly," so they had me fly, which is a mistake on its own.
Huge mistake.
So as soon as we get out of comms, Mike runs back, and did you kill him right away?
And knocked him out.
Yeah, you knocked him out, and I just held down the self-destruct button.
Oh no!
We at least we didn't have, the ship wasn't loaded yet. We were on our way to the contract.
Mike, do you
You guys
remember
are just trolling.
Mike, do you remember the time we made that huge haul for the reclaimer that was just floating outside Grim? We both
Yeah.
got on board, and then you got stuck in the floor, and
Yeah,
then you were
okay.
playing like music through your comms and stuff, and they were running around the ship trying to figure out where it was coming from.
Yeah, I was floating around outside of it trying to get in, and he moved forward, and I went through the skin of the ship and got like embedded in the
Yeah, so you
floor.
got stuck in the infrastructure. Yep.
And so I could see all around and hear everything, but I couldn't get out of where I was. And so
Yep.
Sean
Yeah.
used me as a beacon to come and
Yeah,
commandeer the ship.
and it was so funny because I stole a prospector from Grim. Like I had to, because I didn't have a ship there, and I didn't want to. I was in the heat of the moment of the emergent
He was in
gameplay.
heat.
So I EVA'd I EVA'd into a prospector that had the door open, and I flew it out there, and I like snuck up behind them while they were munching a hull.
Yeah.
And I left the prospector there, and then I boarded the ship, and I forget, did I kill? No, I didn't kill them right away, did I? I searched the whole ship.
Yeah, you walked around for a little bit, and then eventually we were running out of time, and so you just shot the pilot.
Yeah, because they had already. Yeah, we were running out of time. Like we had to. I know we had stuff to do later, or somebody did, and so I ended up shooting the pilot, and then I shot his. I forget. Did he have one crewmate or two? I think he had two.
Just
didn't
one.
He?
No, it's just
No,
one.
one
The
crewmate.
one dude that
Yeah,
hid
and then
upstairs.
the other crewmate, I almost got him, but then he like bolted and hid somewhere, and I couldn't
Top of
find
the
him.
turret. Top turret.
No, yeah, and
Yeah.
he ended up. It ended up that he was in the top turret. Though I had just been there earlier, so I spent like 15 minutes looking for him, and he was where I had originally been, and it was such a cluster because like I tried throwing grenades up there to kill him, and they didn't work. You know, in typical Star Citizen fashion, the grenades, like, one of them blew up in my hand, and the other one bounced off the ceiling and like hit me in the face, and somehow didn't
Of
kill me.
course, yeah.
But anyway, so eventually I managed to kill him, and the original owner was like, or like the pilot that I had killed, who was, you know, now salty because they had no way to track the RMC that we took from them anymore. He was like, "Why did you even bother doing this? It's such a waste of time. You're like, you two are goofballs. Like, you're wasting people's time and like ruining gameplay." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude? You know, we could have been in a ship or something and like blown you up, but not only were we loudly talking in prox comms, we had like music playing, and you had so many opportunities to kill us, and you just didn't, because you're like, I don't know what they were doing, but like."
You brought this on yourself, brother.
Yeah, anyway, so we took all their RMC and sold it, so, you know,
Beautiful.
happy ending to the story. But, you know, it was like, it was really funny at the time, because they, especially the pilot or the owner of the ship, they were so upset about it, and when they had every opportunity to you know, rectify the situation, and they just did not.
Of course not.
I typically prefer that type of opportunistic pirating anyway. I feel like the ship combat is fun, but then if you like pirate off of it, sometimes it feels too one-sided, and I like the idea of boarding anyway. It's like cool and more tense, because you have, like, you know, it's close quarters and you have to be aware, and I don't know, it's that way for me, I think.
Now
Yeah.
you don't know how many people are on the ship. You can't
Yeah.
open up the comms anymore and see how many are on there.
Exactly. It's
So
like the
that's pretty
stakes are
thrilling.
higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great word for it. Thrilling, especially if you're not stuck in the floor like you were, Mike.
Yeah. You know, but I like serving as a beacon too.
I tried so hard to get him out of the floor too, like, and I just couldn't.
What was that one night we did? It was months ago that we just pooped out like 3 or 4 ballistas around Grimhex, just floating in space.
Oh yeah, that was
And-
fun.
Oh, yeah.
that was
loaded those on
that
the
was the
C2.
night we were bounty hunting.
Yeah,
I had a
we-
friend
we-
who suggested that as a possible maneuver for a military conflict. Because, like, one of the org I'm in, we sometimes do like org v org events, and he was like, "We should do a ballista array in space." I'm like, dude, I don't want to load up a C2 or multiple C2s and drive a ballista out into space and leave it floating there. Like, no, this is just too much logistics. Way too much logistics for a
It
battlefield.
was really fun though.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty
because
fun
we-
though.
we- originally tried to
watching
get
try
them
and
on the
figure it out
asteroids.
was really amusing.
Yeah, because you have no idea where it's coming from.
Yeah, because we powered everything down, shields off,
Like, they
everything.
also
Because we
have like
figured
a super small. Well, they used to have a super small detection range.
Yeah, you had to be
Yeah,
within like
especially-
200 feet of the thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think it's still small-ish now, but, you know, considering that you're competing with signatures in space versus on a planet, it's a lot harder to pinpoint them.
anytime someone left Grim, you just see in chat like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Why am I being missile locked? And then they get blown up by a size 7 torpedo.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
We need to do that again.
that was fun. It was a logistical nightmare, though.
Well, it was a logistical nightmare because we were trying to land on the asteroids and they weren't physicalized.
Well,
For
they
landing.
don't have
Unless you
gravity
drive your
either.
ship through them.
Yeah. So if we just pop them into space, we should be good.
Yeah, the only
Should-
the only
shoulda, coulda,
reason
woulda.
that I had suggested the idea of putting them up against an asteroid was so that you wouldn't technically have a blind spot below you, because the asteroid would be covering it.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can't really orient them at
Yeah,
all,
this would be
so-
100% a suicide run, though.
Oh yeah, it's funny as hell though.
Yeah.
Because, you know, watching people like specifically
Scurry
watching
like cockroaches.
yeah, well, watching the the Grimhex griefers or whatever you call them, the people who hang around Grimhex trying to pick a fight, watching them scatter like cockroaches, as you said, and then try figure out where it's coming from, it was quite amusing. But anyway,
Yeah. Cool. Well,
All right. Well, thanks for bringing me on, guys.
No
yeah,
problem.
thanks for coming. All right. That about wraps up this week's episode.
wrap it up.
Well,
Say good
hopefully-
night, Alex.
Good night.
Bye.
Toodles.
Goodbye, streamer.